How is everybody doing today? I am glad to be here with you all for our second session on the Way of the Heart series that we just started. Hi Maria and Paula and Andrea and Jessica and Wendy. East Tennessee, Paula. I lived in West Tennessee in Memphis at one point in my life. Yeah, so my family is in upstate South Carolina, and my sister has been telling me of the warnings for snow. Hello, Monica, Nancy. And I'm here in central Mexico, and we have rain, so it's dry season and it's a little chilly, and so I'm like, okay, this is the very southern part of the snow that might be coming in the US if we're having rain here right now. It's very gray and very out of character for this time of year in this part of Mexico. Hi, Julia. So it was nice. I went to this coffee shop, and it's a B&B also, and they have a fireplace and a fire and cozy chairs. So I posted that on my story today on my social media. It's been a long time since I've been in that sort of energy. So yeah. Welcome, everybody. I had a very impactful coaching session with a client earlier, and I pulled a Michael Singer card that I want to share with y'all as well. So it's from the Untethered Soul deck. And the quote is, "When your stuff gets hit, let go right then, because it will be harder later." Hold on. When your stuff gets hit, let go right then, because it will be harder later. Can anyone relate? Ooh, thanks, Candace. Totally. I mean, that's like the essence of the spiritual journey. Yeah. Great. I sent a photo of this to my client. So if anybody wants a photo of the card, send me a private message. We'll connect. I can send it over. And if anybody is new to me, please say hello if you would like. I'm Natalie, spiritual life coach and Reiki Master Teacher. This will be a recording on my YouTube channel later. Follow me there, Facebook, Instagram, check my website, reach out if you feel called to set up a private session with me. I do have a couple gifted offerings for those who've never worked with me or had a private session with me before. I also have paid offerings in single sessions, as far as doing my signature Reiki and Ancestral Clearing session or a tarot oracle card reading, which I do those here in the lives on the weekends. Yeah, so the gifted offerings that I'm offering now, I have two options. One is my Truth Excavation Deep Dive Guided Journey, where I guide you into a deep state of relaxation, and then we access your inner being, your deeper knowledge, and uncover truths that your soul is ready to reveal. And then I also offer my deep dive workshop that is a life visioning session. So we look at where you are now and where you want to be and what's in the way, and that can be very clarifying and powerful. So if those resonate, or any offering that I have resonates with you, reach out, send me a message. Welcome, Patricia. And today, as I said, we will be diving into the Way of the Heart even more. We had an amazing inaugural session. And the other day. So we'll continue that today. And I gave a deep dive explanation on where the Way of the Heart teachings come from. I'm not going to repeat that to that level, in upcoming sessions, because really more important is the actual message than where it came from. And so if anybody here, if this topic resonates, make sure to check my replays. And there's only one right now, but on my YouTube channel, I have a playlist. I don't know if I have one for Way of the Heart yet, but I will make one. And so all of my live stream series are in playlists there that you can reference. I did a year of Conversations with God. I've done Byron Katie, Michael Singer. Stay tuned. We just finished a talk of his yesterday. So all of those resources are there. Hello, Maggie. Welcome. So we will dive into continuing the Way of the Heart, and I will be reading it. And if you want a link to what I'm reading, which also includes the original audio channelings, send me a message. And I will ask who all does not know the Way of Mastery teachings / the Way of the Heart before we dive in. Awesome, Patricia. Glad to have you. Great. And so I've got this pulled up on my phone, and we will continue. So it's a channeled teaching that's in the realms of A Course in Miracles. So that's like the briefest, most concise explanation about these teachings that I can give. So if nobody has questions about that, we'll just jump right in. And in the website that I am reading from, it actually has it in like paragraphs and pages. If anybody happens to have like the book format of Way of Mastery as well, that could be helpful. I can tell you where we're at. Hi, Sheila. Nice to see you. So, and really just trust you're going to hear something that your soul has led you here today to hear, regardless of anything. So just be open to that. And just be with the information. If you notice mind or ego coming up, be with that. There's no good, bad, right, or wrong. And I also will tell you, just like A Course in Miracles, this uses like traditional Christian terminology at times, but it's not using it in those ways. So it's just like, idioms, I guess, if you will. And it's just symbolism. So really, if you have an issue with that, that's fine. And I invite you to look past that and hear, the message underneath. So let's dive in. For you see, during this coming year, we will be building month by month on what I'm choosing now to call the way of the heart. It is the way unknown to the world. It is a way unknown to many that would call themselves spiritual teachers, for it is not a way of resting on or becoming dependent on magical means. It is rather that pathway which cultivates within you the decision to turn your attention upon your own mind, upon your own behavior, upon what is true and real for you moment to moment, to study it, to consider it, to feel it, to breathe the light of spirit through it, and to constantly retrain the mind so that it assumes complete responsibility in each moment. So this is explaining, because as we're opening into this teaching, and the way it was delivered was in 3 years of once a month sessions. So the first year is the way of the heart. So that's what it was saying. And basically it's saying what we're going to be doing is looking within our own mind, our own thoughts, our own behaviors, our own reactions, because this is where freedom lies and where responsibility lies, which is what we'll be learning more of. It's retraining the mind. The Course in Miracles is a retraining the mind program if you do that. And this is also. And everything is. Any real deep spiritual journey, it's all about retraining the mind moment to moment. And why is this necessary? Because without it, there can be no peace. Without it, you cannot transcend the false identifications that you've chosen. To use perhaps a simpler form of your language, you need to come to the point to where you say to yourself, I've done this to myself. I did it. I must correct it. No one is to blame. The world is innocent. So even that statement is very profound and can be very triggering for some people. I've done this to myself. I did it. I must correct it. No one is to blame. The world is innocent. So basically, everything outside of us is a projection, is an illusion. We have our sense of who we are, our spirit, the true self, the ego, the false self, the illusion of that then projects all of its ideas on the outside world, and it's all an illusion. The world is innocent. The world is without judgment. Our thoughts and perceptions we paste upon the world, and that is on us, so we get to correct that. So if anyone has questions, if this is very deep, profound teaching. So yeah, I'll pause, I'll be slow, and also please jump in. Share questions, share comments, share challenges. And in the coming months, we will be communicating with you more and more deeply, the finer points, if you will, of the way of the heart. For it is that way that was taught to me, and it is that way to which I have pointed you with many, many clues. It is that way that brings about the reversal of every thought you've ever had about anyone or everything. It is that way alone which allows you to pass back through the eye of the needle and to come to rest in the perfect peace from which you have sprung forth. So we've got to pass through this eye of the needle to come back into perfect peace, which is our true nature. The way of the heart is not the way of the intellect, for indeed that aspect of the mind was never designed to be your master. It was designed to be the humble, and if you'll pardon the expression, very stupid servant of the awakened heart. The heart is that which feels all things, embraces all things, trusts all things, and allows all things. The heart is that in which the soul rests eternally. The heart is that which is beyond space and time and is that spark of light in the mind of God, which is called Christ. And only in that will you find the peace that you seek. So the way of the heart we want to come into, and I've been talking about this because I've been deeply immersing myself in this. It's this journey of coming out of here, out of the mind. And as it says, the stupid servant, to come into the awakened heart, the seat of the soul, the seat of consciousness, the seat of awareness, where we get to learn to feel all things, embrace all things, trust all things, and allow all things, which is not easy when we look around the world. There's a lot, and there always is a lot going on. It would be very easy to not embrace, not allow, to resist, to judge. Hi, Lorraine. Amen. Totally. You will discover then that the pathway of awakening is not a pathway of avoidance, but a pathway of truthfulness. It is not a pathway of accomplishment and pride, but a pathway of releasing from the consciousness every hope and every wish to be special. To see yourself as having made progress so that you can pound a fist upon the chest and spread the tail feathers. It is a transcendence of the hope of somehow getting God's attention so that she will look upon you and say, "Oh, you've been such a good person. Oh my goodness, yes. Well, I think we'll allow you into the kingdom now." So it's about releasing that. And the Course talks about that, about the idea the ego wants to be special. And there's that saying, who all has heard, everyone's special and nobody's special. I think Conversations with God says that. We get to release that. Hi, Nia. Yeah, so it can be hard to keep our heart open. And also, as Michael Singer says, anything we close to, we store that energy inside, and then we suffer. So everything is our perception. The world is innocent. Beautiful, Maggie. That's awesome. It is a way in which you will come to cultivate, regardless of your inner experience or degrees of awakening, to cultivate the willingness in the art of returning to the simplicity of empty-headedness and not knowingness with each and every breath. That's it. And all the teachers say this: a moment to moment, present moment awareness and awakening and diligence. Michael Singer talks about the commitment to staying conscious. It's moment by moment. Eckhart Tolle talks about it. All the Buddhist teachings, the Hindu teachings, even if we look at the Bible and look at it in a certain lens, it has pointers in that way as well. The art of returning to the simplicity of empty-headedness and not knowingness, because the mind, the ego, makes up stories about everything it sees all the time, every second. And when we believe those stories, we suffer usually. It is a way of life in which all things and all events become an aspect of your meditation and your prayer, until there is established once again within you the truth that is true always. Not my will, but thine be done. For of myself I do nothing, but my Father does all things through me. Imagine then the state of being in which you walk through the world, seemingly appearing like everyone else, and yet you are spacious within, you are empty within. In truth, you desire nothing, though you allow desire to move through you, and you recognize it as the voice of the Father, guiding your personality, your emotions, and even the body to the places, to the events, to the people, to the things, to the experiences through which the tapestry of the atonement is being woven, through which all of the children of God are called home again. And you trust the complete flow of that, whether you're asked to give a speech in front of 10,000 people, or you're asked to tell a friend the truth of your feelings, or whether or not you are perhaps asked to sweep the streets and live penniless. For in truth, that mind that trusts the source of its creation allows all things, trusts all things, embraces all things, and transcends all things. So this is really about, faith and trust, surrender, allowance, acceptance. So if you're Tony Robbins on a stage, or if you're the homeless man begging in the street, or the street sweeper, or the accountant, that it's not about our station in life, it's about the quality of being in which we bring to that. Rest assured then, whenever you feel frustration and anxiety, it's because you've decided not to trust the truth. And the truth is simply this: only God's plan for salvation can work for you. Your way must always fail, for your way begins with the illusory and insane assumption that you are a separate being from the mind of God and must therefore direct your own course. For if you are sick and diseased and not at peace, why would you decide that you know how to create peace? So if you're in frustration, if you're in anxiety, it's saying that you've decided not to trust the truth. The truth is, separation is an illusion. And again, like I said, this uses some similar language to the Course in Miracles as far as the Christian terminology, and it's not dogmatic. It requires great humility to accept the first step of the path. I have done all this. I must undo it. But I have no idea how I did this. Therefore, I must surrender to something else. So it's about total responsibility. I want to give you this thought and consider it well. What if the very life you are living and each experience that is coming to you now, since the moment you've decided, I've got to awaken here, what if everything was being directly sent to you of your Father, because your Father knows what is necessary to unravel within your consciousness to allow you to awaken? What if the very things you are resisting are the very stepping stones to your homecoming? What if you achieved a maturity along this pathway in which you were finally willing to let things be just as they are? So I talk about this often, and it reminds me of the quote from Albert Einstein. The most important question you can ask yourself is, do I live in a friendly universe? Do I live in a friendly universe? If your answer is yes, then you'll believe what I just read. That the very life you're living, each experience that's coming to you now, is being directly sent to you because Source, Mother, Father, God, knows what is necessary to unravel within your consciousness to allow you to awaken. So those things in your life that are like, this stress, this challenge, that it's actually here to give you what you say you want, which is awakening, which is freedom, which is peace, which is joy, which is living unconditionally. So this is like the divine classroom of like advanced studies that we're in here with this material. We're not in kindergarten. So I'll just pause for a moment and open up space if anybody cares to share an insight, ask a question, challenge it, challenge the information, love it, hate it. And just like in conversations with God, which I said many times, is that, this material, and even the book Conversations with God says in there, like, you reread it over and over and over. So these teachings seep into your subconscious mind and basically reprogram your thinking. This material is the same, and all really like deep spiritual truths. So right now, like if it's the first time you're experiencing this, it's like skimming the surface, and things might stick along the way. And if this message resonates with you, follow that call. Follow that heart call. That you're finding this for a reason. Awesome. Maggie, Patricia. And I teach it because I am still learning, and also I have listened to the original channeled recordings many, many times. The whole series of 36 hours plus many times. And especially this year, like in the past month or so, in the Way of the Heart, like what I'm reading now, I've listened to these multiple times. Ooh, great, Nancy. The Power of Now. I totally recommend A New Earth by Eckhart, his next book after Power of Now. For me, A New Earth was my Bible for many years. So, I'll continue. And if it was necessary to sweep the streets, you simply took a deep breath and said, Mother, Father, God, you know the way home, and therefore began sweeping. And up into the mind comes the thought, oh my God, I won't be recognized. I won't stand out. People won't think I'm special if I'm just a street sweeper. And then you recognize, aha, no wonder my Mother, Father, God wants me to do this. I've got to flush this up so that I can look at it, disidentify from it, and learn to be the presence of love in the sweeping of the street. For in truth, I tell you, the least of these among you, according to your perception, is already equal to the greatest, and there is none among you who is less than I am. And so the Way of the Heart begins there. It begins by accepting the humility that you've created quite a mess within your consciousness. You've created a labyrinth and gotten lost within it, and you don't know the way back. That of yourself you can do nothing. For all you've managed to achieve is the creation of a whole lot of insane dramas that are in truth occurring nowhere except within the field of your mind. They are like chimeras, like dreams. In truth, there is no difference between a waking state in which you would be the director of your life and the dreams you have when the body sleeps at night. They are both the same thing. I wish to direct you to peace. Even that peace which forever transcends the understanding and comprehension of the world. I desire, because my Mother, Father desires it through me, to bring you wholly to where I am, that you might discover there is something that got there ahead of you. And when you look closely, you go, ah, it's myself. I've always been there, but I forgot. And in the end of all journeying, in the end of all purification, and indeed purification is still necessary, you will discover that to awaken means to have journeyed nowhere. It means to have arrived at a goal that is never changed. Awakening is only remembrance, but it is a remembrance not just of the intellect, for it is not an idea as you would understand ideas. It is an idea that vibrates through the whole field of your beingness, so that even the cells of the body, while yet the body remains coalesced together in its present form, even the cells of the body awaken and relax into the truth that is true always. So, we all have, and I mean all of you here, because you're here, have an understanding, an intellectual understanding of spiritual truths and concepts. And I've said this, and this is saying this now. It's got to become something experiential within us, in our body. And that's the journey. Hi, Karen. The Way of the Heart. If you were a gardener, would you not cultivate the art of weeding your garden? Would you not look to see that the soil is just the correct dampness? Would you not keep your eye on the clouds on the horizon in the heat of the day? Would you not cover the delicate plants that need protection while they go strong? And if those that would come would not respect your garden, would you not ask them to leave or build a temporary fence until the garden is strong enough, until it bursts forth with enough fruit so that you can give to even those who don't respect it? Be you, therefore, a wise gardener. Cultivate a deep love and respect for yourself. For you are not here to fix the world. You are not here to fix your brother or sister. It's only love that heals. And until you've loved yourself wholly, by having purified the mind of every erroneous thought you've ever had, until you've loved, you do not in truth love anyone or anything, save in those brief moments when you let your guard down and the love of God shines forth through you so quickly you don't even know what happened. For the wise gardener cultivates a state of consciousness in which the love of God is unimpeded. So it's all about the cleansing of this ego mind, of our perceptions, of our projections, of our judgments, of our resistance. It's all about the cleansing and the purification and the disidentification from that entity. Hey Laura, hey Angela. Everyone who's joining in, welcome. Beloved friends, those of you that have elected to answer a call to participate in this pathway with this family, if you would make your commitment to trusting your Creator for having set before you a pathway that can indeed lead you home, you will indeed arrive at home. But commitment means that you don't get to leave the room when the shouting begins. And the shouting we're speaking of is the shouting within your own mind, within your own body, within your own emotions. That you will stay with these things by being honest about them and loving yourself, forever having the power to even create such insane perceptions of yourself in the world around you. The way of the heart is the final pathway that any soul can enter. There are many stages of awakening. There are many pathways that can be followed, but ultimately all roads lead to Rome, so they say. Eventually, each soul must find its way into the way of the heart and come back to the truth that it's time to take responsibility, to learn to cultivate the ability to look upon the deep and vicious blackness of what I've called ego, which is nothing more than the cesspool of denial. It is that which lacks light, and begin to bring light back to it by simply observing your own mind, your own behavior, your own reactions with a sense of wonder, with a sense of innocence, with a sense of childlikeness. For is it not written that you must again become a little child to enter the kingdom? The little child simply marvels at all they see. Wow, how about that? Can you imagine looking upon the deepest, darkest parts of your own shadow, your own denials, and being able to say, oh, how about that? Remember then that everything is neutral. And in truth, all that which arises within your consciousness has no effect upon the truth of your reality. So it labeled the illusion as ego, which it says is just a lack of light. And basically it's saying shadow shadow work. You could label it as that, which is loving those parts that feel unlovable, or the judgments, or the resistance, or the what we might call ugliness, the parts of ourselves that are greedy. We bring light to that part by observing with a sense of wonder, observing with innocence. Innocence means no judgment. Innocence means no resistance. Michael Singer would say, relax and release. Don't close. So I love how all of these have, teachings have different words and say the same thing. So I want you all to take with you into your coming now moments this idea about innocence, and that you are innocent in the truth of your being, and that the world is innocent. And really, I think about this sometimes when I'm out in the world. It's so easy to do it with children because they are, like, there's no ego yet. So they are just the innocents. But I try and do this with adults. I'll just picture them like, oh, this is a big kid. We're all just little, kids walking around. For is it not written that you must again become a little child to enter the kingdom? I read that. Yep. Remember that everything is neutral. Everything is neutral. All that arises within your consciousness has no effect upon the truth of your reality, which is only here within your thoughts and perceptions. The way of the heart, then, is a way of cultivating the decision to become identified with the light that can shine away all darkness, not by fighting with it, but by recognizing it, embracing it as your own creation, and choosing again. The way of the heart is the way that I teach. And now we begin a more focused, shall we say, year-long study, a year-long cultivation together, that the way of the heart might become established within your holy mind. And we will be drawing indeed upon many sources, and there may be some surprises according to who may choose to speak to you through this vehicle. But rest assured, at all times and all ways, I've committed myself to gently directing the birthing and the manifestation of what you've come to call Shanti Christo, which is the organization in which these teachings were shared, just to keep it simple. The idea was given by me, and what I give, I nurture, and what I create together with you, I do not abandon. Therefore, you will find that I will be here always. We will have yet to see whether you will be. Remember then always that the truth is true always. Is it not time, beloved friends, to truly step into ownership of your only reality? The way of the heart does not know the word avoidance. The way of the heart does not know deception, manipulation, or control. The way of the heart does not know blame, although it watches these things arise as echoes of old patterns now outgrown. It learns to see them, to recognize them, like you might recognize certain kinds of clouds that pass through the sky, and then to turn the attention of the mind that a new choice might be made. So basically in this languaging, it's talking about reprogramming limiting beliefs and shifting your mindset. and stop having the self-judgment when you show up in old patterns of thinking and behavior, but to have that innocence of a child, to be like, there's that pattern again. Oh, sweetie. And not get identified with that cloud passing through the sky. You are the sky of awareness. The way of the heart is the way that calls you home. And the call comes from that deep part of your soul that is still like unto the Spirit, which abides as Christ in the holy mind of God. Trust then that you are as a sunbeam to the sun, and trust not the perceptions that you've cultivated in error. For you are not alone on the way that you journey, and you journey not apart from your brothers and sisters. This family cannot know separation, though some may seem to come and go. For once the call to awaken through this lineage has been acknowledged, though bodies may not communicate in space and time, rest assured communication remains and there's no way to avoid it. And so we begin the way of the heart. We enter now a stage where it's time to stop listening out of polite kindness or out of curiosity, and to step into the willingness to don the mantle of that one committed to healing every obstacle to the presence of love that may yet remain secretly hidden in the depth of that part of your mind which would struggle to be separate from God, and to remember that you are truly the light that can come to shine lovingly upon every aspect of darkness you have known. So it's asking for your commitment. And this talk was given in context of, it was given as a channeled message to a group, so if you think of it that way, that's sort of the context. And we can take it right now. It's timeless. So for you, are you interested or are you committed to awakening? Are you interested or are you committed to freedom from suffering? And there's no right or wrong answer here. It's just that if you're choosing this, if you're choosing to stay asleep, like if you're hearing this, you're ready, your soul's ready, but is whatever the human part of you ready? Because it's going to require 100% commitment and 100% responsibility. Great, Laura. So this is, it's been put into book form, but it actually was a channeled teaching given vocally, and it's called The Way of the Heart. I can send you the link if you send me a private message. So it's about remembering the truth of who and what you are. You are light. It's about awakening from identification with ego, with mind, with thought, with judgment. So along this pathway this year, you're going to learn how to shake hands with the devil and to do a little jig with him and recognize his face to be your own. For when you can dance with the darkness that you've created, that darkness is transformed into an angel, and light abides with light. We will be giving you and bringing forth certain meditations, if you will, certain energetic practices to help cultivate within you a quality of feeling that will allow you to recognize energies that do not serve you in a way that transcends what your mind may choose to think of these energies, so that you will learn more and more to lead with the body, if you will, to lead with your feeling nature, not your intellect. For your intellect does not know anything except the trivialities that you've shoved into it, like garbage into a garbage can. The intellect can never bring the healing of the heart. That is the atonement. It can only be utilized to argue against the insane perceptions you are used to, so that you might come to see that perhaps there is a greater good in giving up your insistence on treating the intellect as your God. So, as I've been talking about, if you've been joining me recently, about this living from the heart, that means living from a moment by moment perception of what is the weather in the heart right now? How is my body feeling? Most all of us are living as if we're heads without bodies. Who all can relate? Most of us live as if we're just a head, and everything is here. Everything is through this filter of thought and perception and projection. So it's about this journey of every moment, every breath. Let me ground myself into this seat. Therefore, indeed, beloved friends, dance often, rejoice, play often. Let this year be that year in which you bring up within yourself everything unworthy of the mind of Christ. Every thought of scarcity, every sense of unworthiness, every fear, let them come up. Look at them, embrace them, transmute them through your own love of self and through your honesty. Accept where you are and don't pretend to be otherwise, for the wisest are always the humblest. So it's about coming out of denial. And it's about self-love and acceptance. So when the unhealed parts come up, the wounded inner child, whatever you want to call it, the ugly parts that are judging self, judging others, that instead of denying that, not liking it, not wanting it, pushing away, but it says, let them come up, look at them, embrace them, and transmute them through your own love of self. There it is again. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I mean, you could also call that this inner child work. Be you therefore at peace, beloved friends. Be you therefore at peace in all things. For we delight, and I speak here of the many we who are in what you might call a disembodied state, who are electing to participate with you, that are asking to be helped this year through this way. We delight in joining with you. We delight in loving you. We delight in waiting on you to welcome yourself home. So as I said, this is like a channeled teaching, and it's being channeled by Jeshua ben Joseph, who was the man Jesus. And so it's talking about, there's other beings as well that are with him, that are part of this message. Okay, just a couple more paragraphs and we're finished with the first lesson. Transmute, Lucy, great question. It means to transform. So we transmute the ego, the darkness, the shadow. We transmute it into the light of truth and presence with our presence and with our loving acceptance and innocence. Therefore, indeed, we will begin to end this message of this hour now. But as we close, I would ask, so you can do this. It's giving us a little meditation for a moment, so please follow along and do this. Close your eyes for just a moment and take a deep breath into the body and let it go. And as the breath leaves the body, hold the thought that there is nothing worth holding on to any longer that keeps your peace and happiness at arm's length. There is nothing worth holding on to any longer that keeps your peace and happiness at arm's length. Become committed, become fully committed to the experience of happiness, even as you've been fully committed to unhappiness and limitation and lack. Give your Creator full permission to sweep the basement clean. There really isn't anything down there worth defending or protecting. So to me, the basement means the subconscious mind. There's nothing worth holding on to. Nothing. I talked about this recently. Remember those that were here. I will not sacrifice my peace for this. There's nothing worth holding on to. And that means energetically in our heart. And it will come to pass that you will know the perfect peace of empty-headedness, not knowingness. You will know what it means to be relieved of time and to be comforted by what is eternal. Peace be unto you always, and never once let yourself think that you're alone. It is what they call haberdash. That is an interesting term. It is nonsense for you to think that I'm not with you. You have asked. I picked up the phone. We are in communication. That is the way it is. That is the way it will be until the end of all illusion. Amen. So that is the first lesson. Let me know your thoughts, your questions, your experience. Before we close, I will be back for SML, Sunday Morning Live, this weekend. We will do a card reading for the collective. We will do Reiki and Ancestral Clearing. Welcome, Heather. Thank you for joining, everybody. Don't forget to follow me here. Give a donation if you'd like. Wonderful, Maggie. You are embodying the essence of your true nature. Yes, this is a very dense teaching. So I invite you, if this resonates, I can send you the link to what I'm reading. And actually it's cool because at the top of the page, it has the video. Well, it's just an audio, but it has the original audio channeled recording. And then underneath it has the transcript. So that's what I was reading. So I invite you, watch this replay. It'll be on my YouTube soon, or, dive in yourself. Keep coming back. We're all on this journey of awakening together, and it does make a difference, and it does affect the entirety of the planet, because their illusion is separation is an illusion. We are all one. So right now we are witnessing the awakening of humanity as we witness that within ourselves in every moment. Every time we wake up from the dream of thought, every time we wake up in presence and we relax back into the body and the heart, and we touch that glimmer of peace, even if it's just for a moment, that sends ripples, powerful ripples outwards. Wonderful, Nancy. Thank you. Maggie, awesome. Hi, Rose. Yeah, well, keep coming back. Practice this. And as this message said, it requires commitment, as Michael Singer says. And what do you, what does it say? Yeah, like, give your creator full permission to sweep the basement clean. There isn't anything there worth defending or protecting. So what happens is, when we get totally identified in the ego and the mind, we go into defending and protecting our suffering. So when we let that go, when we see that with the innocence of a child, then that's the waking up in the moment. Great, Karen, Angela, yes, Maggie, Wendy, Patricia. Ooh, beautiful. Angela. Yeah, Wendy, I like you've said that before, and there's a book by a coach that I know. It's called When All Boats Rise. And really, I truly believe this, that we are going to have critical mass on this planet. And it's happening. There will be a moment of critical mass. Or I think it's been called like the 100th monkey, what is it? Theory. I think it's called the 100th monkey theory. It's like a monkey learns something spontaneously in its little tribe, and then it teaches the other monkeys. And then when 100 monkeys have learned it spontaneously on another island in some other area, completely and totally separate from this tribe of monkeys, a monkey over here spontaneously knows how to do the thing. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Because I know I'm probably, there could be a better way of explaining it, but you get the gist. That's that critical mass. Great. So it matters. Every thought matters. How you treat yourself and talk to yourself matters. Because separation's illusion. So I will see you all Sunday in the Western Hemisphere, Saturday in the East. Thank you. Don't forget to follow me here, there, everywhere. Reach out if you feel called. Give a donation if you feel called. Listen to my meditations here on Insight Timer. Thank you. I'm moving into my home where I will be for a while, most of the year, if not longer, tomorrow. Thank you, Wendy. Much love.